Hello and welcome back to ESA Season 9. My name's Naj, and I am joined by Delta Bacon, ready for SF versus MVG. What do you think
Looks like
of?
we're going to have a good game today, doesn't it? Really good game. Upper bracket final. Winner straight through to the grand final. Loser got to slum it up in the lower bracket promotion match, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely so. And it's yeah, it's looking pretty tight right now. Like a lot of these teams very good, very memorable when it comes down to their performances and how they've been in previous ESA Cups. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see um these two teams face off against each other because something that I've kind of realized is SF are pretty timid at first. They can be a little inconsistent in their early games, but MVG like to start off strong, and we'll have to see how we want to, you know, analyze this, see how we can bring some things into fruition. But we do have the map bans ready to go, so we'll shoot over to those.
Absolutely. So as you can see, MolotovGang, they had the first ban and they took Bang off the board straight away. We saw a couple of the usual suspects come through. Chalet, surprisingly, banned out because Chalet, I think I've seen it every single time I've casted in this competition so far. But we are going to go to Clubhouse on attack first. That's going to be Molotov Gang leading the charge. Really wanting to set the pace with choosing attack first, and then we're going to go straight over to Consulate. Now, Silent Family, they've picked Consulate 4 times so far, so this is clearly a map that they scream. They're quite good on it. I think they've only lost it on it once in this competition. So really looking to make a statement intent, go where they're strong, and pick up a map. I think we'll go the distance. I think we're going to go all the way along to Skyscraper here today.
Yeah, something I'm not particularly excited for is all three of these maps do tend to be quite slow. So we could be in for a bit of a long one tonight if we're lucky. We'll have to see. But we do have, as you can see just below, if anyone missed it, the map bans are still there. You can see sort of what's gone on. Do we have any production that we can take a quick look at before anything goes underway? We have Goatnax only, who has voted for. Oh, never mind. It's just rotating. There we go. We have a pretty heavy favor towards MVG. What do you think about that?
I think I think a lot of people have maybe underestimated Silent Family. In when they 2-0'd Asgard to win and come through to this map, the vote was 80-20 against them. So I think they're coming into this as maybe a little bit slept on. They're on a better run of form than Molotov Gang at the moment. They've won 4 on the bounce to MVG's 3, and they've won more convincingly in their last victory, 2-0 versus Asgard against 2-1 against Entropy. So whilst I've seen MVG quite a lot in this competition, I think MVG are an incredibly strong side, and particularly on Skyscraper, where they are taking us for that deciding map if we get there. I can't help but feel like Silent Family, they're going to push in the distance. I think we're in for a tight one.
Oh, definitely. I think this could be a very interesting matchup. Those win rates just below, as you can see. We've got 79% total win rate for Silent Family and a 65% for Molotov Gaming. Just kind of reading words on a screen right now. We got Cafe as the best map for Silent Family. Unfortunately, they're not being played. We do know Consulate's very strong for them, as you've said. And Skyscraper as the final one is the best map for MVG. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see. I think we have a ready lobby, so we may just quickly shoot straight over if production's ready for it.
Yeah, you can't help but feel like that Molotov Gang, their cafe ban at the end, that was very much to solidify their hold and say either you're going to Nighthaven, where not a lot of teams are that strong so far in the league so far. It's not really been in the ESA meta, or you go come home to Skyscraper, where we are incredibly powerful. Well, let's get into it. Let's get into these operator bans with such slow maps coming up, and especially with Clubhouse. This is one where the strats they're kind of familiar, and you can kind of take the bans from them as well.
Yeah, strats kind of matter in maps like this. Clubhouse, a map with a lot of doorways, some small rooms, so Monty going off the board is going to be pretty effective for them. And for the second attacker ban, I'll probably expect something along the lines of maybe some kind of breacher. Yeah, there it is, Hibana. Like breacher, like someone to help with the breach, like a Thatcher, Hibana, that sort of thing. What do you think about these defenders, though?
Well, one thing I was actually going to mention there is that one thing that I noticed is the There isn't any banning of breach enabling, so there's no banning of a Thatcher, there's no banning of your Carlys and things like that. So it's actually going to be reasonably easy for these attackers to open up these important breaches. Vigil, that's a roaming op, they're going to be taken off the board as well, so they're going to be playing a little bit of that intel game. Is Silent Family using their drones just to find everyone as they go around.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a broken record at this point, but something a lot of people still don't understand is how stupid Vigil can be. If you're Put it this way, if you're a player that's confident in your aim, you're able to hit DMR shots, whatever else, you know you hit that first bullet, whatever. Just run the boss G because it's just statistically the most powerful weapon in the game. It's the only gun that can, one shot to the body on a 3 armor. And
Well,
like
not when you've got aim like mine.
Callie's got a sniper, she can't even do that. So it's pretty important to really take note of if you're gonna be, you know, at a comp level like this. So him being off the board is gonna be pretty impactful to them, but we'll have to see.
Basement Sighter is then first, and we've seen a lot of basement picks first so far on Clubhouse in the competition. A lot of teams opting to go downstairs because the meta has evolved, it's shifted. CC it is no longer the absolute powerhouse of a site that it used to be. The strats, they've been tried, tested, and stratted against for about 4 or 5 years now. Going downstairs first, it's a sign that they're looking to maybe change the narrative a little bit, maybe pick up a few rounds early on, and not let Molotov Gang get into this game in the way that they want to do. So Molotov Gang, they chose to attack first. Silent Family, they're playing the defensive.
The sprint bug is pretty derpy. We've got a pretty decent lineup on both sides. It looks like they're going to be quite aggressive on this defending side, but more than likely it's going to be sort of like an LM style room where you have the dock fall off quite quickly. Inez managed to find the first, picked off the Goyo, looks like over towards PC. But yeah, not too bad. There is a lot of pressure on this upstairs. A second one found as Doc is next to fall, and well, maybe there's going to be a bit of stall here, but instead there's going to be a potential engagement between the man in garage and the smoke that is hanging around inside of this stock lounge area. A punch hole made on the wall, but Thatcher just going to be playing, biding his time. The SMG-11 comes swinging past, but he knows there's going to be a guy on this window as well. Jackal in an engagement finds the kill, and well, now we're in a 1 versus 4.
Happened quick, didn't it?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
happening
it
in the
did.
first minute of the round. Hassi is really good for those impact flare frags in particular. Hassi is a really powerful fragger. Aina picking up that early one, and there's the last one. That's very much a statement of intent from Molotov Gang. You've gone downstairs, but we've chosen to attack. We chose this map. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna, we're just gonna take rounds off you really easily. So maybe a little bit of overextension from Silent Family, dropping these early frags. Hassi picking up that double, potentially a triple even. I didn't actually see who got that last one. Was it Just? I think it was Just, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
But
It was the guy coming down main stairs. I think it was Ace. Oh no, it was Maverick, wasn't it?
I believe
So
it was Just. Yeah, it was Just.
yeah,
So yeah, that's pretty powerful for that. That's a really good first round. Just what you want. Statement of intent. Bish bash bosh.
pun
We've got a
intended.
round up.
Um, and it looks like realistically, as I said, like it can be pretty inconsistent for the side of Silent Family, especially towards the earlier portion of the game. And I've seen that quite a bit from them, especially when doing like reviews, because I used to be like the analyst for Eagle Empire console when they were around. Um, and it's one of those where I've seen them a lot in a more thorough perspective than quite a few people may have, and their inconsistency does, as you said, usually come from those overextensions, like things that they're not quite ready for, that they haven't quite put the fruition in to prepare for, or preparation in to prepare for.
Yeah, we are just on a little bit of a pause right now. We're waiting for a player to reconnect to the lobby. There's not really too much to analyze from that first part of the game, is there? I think it
No.
just all happened really, really quickly. Silent Family getting a little bit enthusiastic. Those early peaks being really, really rapidly punished. 1-0. How soon into the game do you go for a reset? I mean, surely you just chalk that on up to okay. We started aggressive. We got unlucky. It's still 0-0.
Yeah, I think the preparation for the aggression was really there for the side of MVG. Like MVG really seemed to be able to pick that apart, kind of isolate these players that were trying to get rotations round. Like we saw the smoke try and get out of lounge in towards Adam, and then he got caught on the window. But there was also a guy in garage, so it's multiple angles playing this cutoff, like this split theory that G2 really played into when they were when they were like at the top. So I think like that's sort of the style that they're trying to go for here.
Notably, very similar, if not the same lineup coming out from SilentFamily here, but we are seeing MolotovGang change it up just a little bit. Nope, they're all going to switch back off to what they were on. Yeah, the last round. Cool, thanks. But yeah, so MolotovGang, they saw what worked. They're just going to keep doing that. SilentFamily, what they change is probably going to be changing aggression and a change in how they decide to hold the site, as opposed to anything else. It's more of a mindset and attitude change than it is a strat or an operator change.
Oh, definitely. I think it's pretty interesting to sort of see how there's sort of very slight adaptations that very possibly could bring a lot more to the roster. I like this sort of book pick. They're probably going to be using that to try and clear out this upstairs a bit faster than they did previously. And I also like the Azami switch because Azami, I mean, she's the only operator in the game that's lasted this long and is still considered overpowered, right? So it's pretty interesting to see that like she is so sort of like frivolous in this area of Siege. Like she's still so annoying after so long.
That seems harsh. That seems fairly harsh. But yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, she's one of those operators where I think a good player, when they extract everything out from what an Azami is capable of, it can seem incredibly overpowered. But I think for your average schmuck like myself, it kind of just is what it is. Early engagements coming out as they skin down the tuber out, and Glock's gonna fall very, very quickly. That's the top floor roam clear. I think essentially complete. But notably, that first kill came in over a minute into the round, so that's at least a little bit of improvement for SilentFamily.
I don't want to be too overly judgy, but like, what was the plan there? Because I understand having Glock, like, or having a player play on towards main stairs and maybe try and have like a rotation out through the gym hatch. But having your Tuberal, the guy who's supposed to be downstairs denying these hatches alongside the Cade in order to give him a hand against the Thatcher on the main stairs seems a little bit of a throw. And then your Cade unfortunately gets caught through the vertical holes. Variox manages to find those, and these vertical angles just coming out beautiful from the buck, but unable to quite peak that one because of the hatch.
I really like the usage of books so far, in that they're not only being used to affect entry, they're also being used to affect vert. Where usually you'd see a ram doing that as the Pete's going to come round, and the
aggression.
The kill's going to come out from Hassi. More of those big impact frags, and every single kill will come through from there. Very good entry, affected by some really lovely drone and really lovely attacking play. And yeah, you're not really going to get too much better than that in terms of executes, because a good execute happens pretty much at the same time. There's a system to it, but when the go time's called, one of the things that MolotovGang are really good at doing is pushing on separate sides in big flanks and catching people in really quick crossfires. And that was really good there. Hassi, again, 2 kills, big impact kills. Yeah, we expect that from them.
Yeah, I think it's when it comes down to the side of SilentFamily, I think we need to see a bit more from them, like on the sort of site presence sort of area. I think they're going for a lot of like these sort of solo plays in the earlier round, and it's not really working out for them as we've seen. Especially with like the operators they're choosing to put in certain positions. I'm not really a fan, but again, that's just my opinion. I don't play. I just talk, and
Well,
hopefully people listen.
I wouldn't have minded seeing the Goyo do that extended roam. Get your
Yeah.
get your canisters down. But it's it's the same with operators like Rook. Why Rook's particularly good for new players, for instance, because you can't just put your stuff down. You have been useful. Everything you do on top is it's a cherry on top, right? So I think I
Oh,
would have
exactly.
preferred to see the Goyo do that.
That garage door looks like it could be a big point of contention very quickly. A 1v1 looks like it's probably going to come out there between the Warden and whoever that is outside. I think it's Brava. But they are just looking to try and get this breach. Bandit's going to trick it. And, well, now you're not happy. You've only got 2 Selma charges left. You don't really have much other... Well, you have no other breach utility. Like, that's it. Like, Grim didn't bring hard breach charges. Your striker didn't bring hard breach charges. You're locked in now. Like, that's it. You've got 2 Selma charges. And you've got to try and get the breach on the opposite side. You've still got to get Con's wall. You've still got to get this main breach. One of them staying closed.
And see, this is the kind of moment where, you know, a Kali, a Thatcher, or, you know, an Osa with impact needs, that's when they come into their, you know, into their own. Without any breach denial, breach enabling being banned off the game.
Oh no.
You kind of got carte blanche to bring who you please. There's a very sneaky play coming out from Hassi. Hassi, we see them pick up big impact kills all the time. Really good entry records as they start sneaking up these red stairs. And I don't think SilentFamily know he's there.
I don't think they have a clue. Nobody's paying attention to this main stairs side. We have the man in Logi. We also have one on the gold rotate. But Hassi's going to be making his way up. Finds the Warden. Doesn't get spotted from behind just yet. Goyo there to find the kill. Rigora finds another 2. A beautiful collateral through the 2 that dropped down the hatch. And now we're in a favorable situation for this defense. They need to maintain their number advantage as well. Jackal comes hopping in through... Oh, not Jackal. Sorry. I'm losing my mind. Striker comes jumping through the gym window. Finds 1. Manages to equalize the man count. And Bandit with the C4 isn't able to detonate it in time. Veriox on a double. Unfortunately gets shut down. Glock left in the 1v1 versus Aina as, well, they've stalled.
Yeah, they have. It's this is just going to be a straight up frag. I don't think this is going to come down to planting the diffuser. Every chance to, but here comes the swing. Is he going to stick it or is he going to fake it? There's the fake, and this 1v1 just got spicy, but there it is, the final kill coming out. Aina, just that aim, a smidge better, and he'll kick that one off. A 3rd round then, for MolotovGang.
Yeah, finding the head slightly earlier is Aina in that gunfight. So, now we move on to round number 4. It's 3-0, no tactical timeout being used as of yet, and, well, I'm a bit unsure of where SilentFamily can really go from here. They need to try and do something a little different, per se. They've tried a lot of this pressure on the horizontal. They've tried a lot of this pressure on the vertical, especially when playing downstairs. But I feel like, personally, they're playing the wrong operators around those locations. I understand the Bandit and the Warden being out where they were, but like the 2 Brow on main stairs when they played basement last time, things like that I'm not really too certain of. They have decided to change, so we'll have to see how they sort of bring this in.
Yeah, Glock switching to the Goyo, so that's still on the board, but Mark's there sitting on the Valkyrie, so looking to play a bit more intel, and I think that's a smart move, because in particular Hassi, I'm going to get bored of mentioning his name at some point, but they've snuck onto site, I think 3 of 3 times so far. They've just kind of walked in, so they have to do something, you know, and with the game differential, the face checking it's not going to do. We've seen this before. We've seen the spawn peaks. Oh, he's just gonna bottle it at the last second. Oh, you gotta hold your nerve there. You go. Very
now he's stuck. The split theory, as I said. You've got the man on the opposite side, the Buck there, waiting, ready to find that kill, but Goldies finds it anyway with the flashbang, and Goyo going to be on these stairs, and Adam waiting for another person to, try and take the swing onto him, but all he's really going to find is that drone that came down red. So, kind of isolated. Like, you put yourself in a position, you didn't choose to leave early enough, you didn't choose to commit for long enough, and it's that sort of middle ground that got you kind of boned in that situation. But once again, Hassi, very aggressive, very in, early, on bar. Veriox finds 1, and it's a 3v5 early in the game. Now 3v4.
Yeah, MolotovGang, they're kind of changing the pace up. They're not letting SilentFamily get settled into one kind of single storyline of how a round will go. Sometimes they're fast, sometimes they're slow. They can be methodical when they want to, but they can also really turn up the pace when it's needed. So they're playing a very, very good game and just keeping the Silent Family side on their toes. They don't know what's coming.
I think we can see what's coming though. All 4 players kind of hovering around this blue side. It's going to be a very heavy blue push, more than likely. But we have split off a little bit. We've got a little bit of pressure on the other sides, and maybe they are going to split themselves up. Just 4 players wanted to get that hatch open, and not really too sure where they're planning to go with this. They are setting themselves up for something. They're looking to get themselves ready to be very aggressive on multiple different angles all at the same time. Maybe see if they can get some picks.
There's one. Timo picking off Goldies, but it's not going to be enough too far so far. They're still, I would say, under pressure until that timer gets down real low to about 20 seconds and it turns into another defender. They're holding their angles and they're just going to invite MolotovGang to come and attack them. If you want this site, you're going to come to us. We know we can't swing you. You've got to swing us.
Indeed, Hassi down that hatch, and another player's there to join him. Beautiful shot onto Glock, and Marcus is soon to fall just after. Unsure that he's able to wallbang that guy that's going to be standing around Jen, and is going to just hold the tight angle. Almost gets caught on the swing out, and Hassi's going to be going wide. Eventually finds him is Veriox, and that was incredibly played by Hassi. As you keep saying, he's just able to get himself in these terrible positions for these defenders and really just picking things apart. 4-0 now. Once again, I'll reiterate, no tactical timeout used.
Yeah, I think maybe it's a little early in the game to be picking up a tactical timeout, but you know this is very much MolotovGang chose this map. MolotovGang chose to attack this map. This might be one, you know, if we're spitball a little bit, this might be one that Silent Family have already made their peace with losing, so they're just going to be competitive, you know, do what they can. But once it's over, you know, then we go to one of the maps that they've picked, and maybe that's where they're thinking we can pick up that map. Of course, then they've got to go back to a map that MolotovGang are really strong on. But you know, you take it a step at a time, one foot in front of the other, right? But yeah, I mean, there's other players as well, of course, on MolotovGang. You know, Ina's sitting on a kill around, Veriox sitting on a kill around. You know, it's not just Hassi. Hassi's got these memorable impact kills, but the whole team's contributing. You know, be that in frags, be that in assists, be that in, you know, enabling and, you know, activating the breaches and things like that. Getting their team into the positions, you know. And this is one of the good things about MolotovGang. Throughout this competition, you know, they stand up for each other and they can all bring something to the team. They're really good in that way where, you know, Hassi is good, Ina's good, Veriox is good, but the whole team's good. And you know, that's the key to reaching a grand final. That's the key to hopefully winning one on December 22nd, eh?
Yeah, I don't want to just meat ride, but like Hassi's positioning is insane. Like bringing himself into
delicious.
garage rafters already, like applying pressure onto this guy that is just hovering around inside of Cash, nearly finding the wall bang. The drone going to be pinging him, and it's just a crazy little like interaction amongst these players on MolotovGang. They're really just able to enable Hassi in his positioning, as you said. And I think that's going to be I think that is just being a real problem for the side of Silent Family, because whether they want to play their life or not, whether they want to try and play their positioning or not, they're just getting caught out by the aggression, by the positioning. And I mean, as we can see now, they're just getting themselves ready to pile in on this construction side with some angles in towards the bedroom windows, and maybe we're going to see them explode onto the site very, very soon.
Yeah, see, this is where they're really good at controlling the tempo of the game, which is absolutely crucial for pushing. No, Silent Family, they've just detonated the Goyos. No one's even in construction, so they're panicking.
That was MVG,
right?
the guy on the window, I think.
Was it actually? I didn't see that. I didn't think they'd open. Ah, yeah, through Jim. Cool. But yeah, you know, so you know they're dealing with these, you know, pieces of utility, MVGR, and there's no response from Silent Family. All they can do is sit and wait. There's 5 of them playing on site. If they had a roamer right now that could escape and maybe start creeping up the back, that'd be absolutely delicious. But there's an element of them being rattled. And
Yeah.
MolotovGang, they're controlling the tempo. They've set up the site, ready for an attack. Now it's just down to the execute as we come to the dying moment of the round.
Yeah, last 45 seconds, and
Oh, he
it's
sees his
all so
boot.
scary. He does see his boot. It's all so scary when you're in this position. It's a 5v5. You've got to try and take the site, but Hassie finds one through the mattress, and now, as another falls, Goldies is going to be isolated inside of Logi. Hassie's made his way all the way through. It's just going to be Goyo
Stop
left
it.
alive and gold, and that's going to be the round over on Hassie's back as we make our way through the site. A triple kill for that man. And it's going to be 5-0, or yeah, 5-0 so far in favor of MBG on this first map of Clubhouse.
I think they're having fun out there, aren't they?
Oh,
MVG.
definitely.
They're absolutely having fun out there. And there's been a couple of moments of really, lovely moments coming out from SilentFamily. But I think MolotovGang, they're the ones who are having the fun. You talk about Siege, one of the big things in competitive Siege is having a good defensive split, which is usually, 3-3 worst case, 4-2 is your ideal. We're looking at 0-5 for SilentFamily on defense,
What
and
is
this is MolotovGang's map. So they're going to have screwed both sides of it, you know what I mean? Now they've got to try and essentially go and play a perfect game of Siege to try and have a hope of even getting close to taking this map off them.
I'm not entirely against that Valk cam, but I've just never seen it used in like a official sort of comp format before. Like
I didn't see where the Valcam landed, that was pontificating.
Staircase Valk cams, bro. They're on main stairs about halfway down the final flight. They've just thrown it like just tucked in the staircase.
Oh, I would have said that's fairly standard. I do it all the time, but it's one of the few things that I'm good at is Valcams. Not aim. Not aim. But
Don't worry, I'm on your
Valcams.
side, bro. I'm on your side.
Hey, I'm your guy.
I'm there with you. But it looks
We'll
like
get into the start of this round then with MolotovGang slowly moving
does
on
look
to
like
the
we're
build
gonna
team.
see something pretty much exactly the same as they did before, I think.
Yeah, they're good. One of the things that they're pretty good at is, well, amongst other things, like hitting heads. One of the things they're really good at is setting up a site ready for the XU. So, I mean, this links back earlier to what I was saying, where they're really good at executing. A big part of that is the preparation to get ready for the execute.
Bro, the guy in CC just was not ready for the Jackal to drop down. Hassie already into Jim, trying to get that contention onto Timo, who's on main stairs right now, but neither of them able to find any frag as Veriox from the vertical angle on the Jim hatch is able to find the man on main stairs, and that's going to give them a man advantage already in this round. We are more than a minute in, so it hasn't been exactly a short amount of time, but managing to find that kill before the defenders even fully fall off is going to be a pretty big deal for the attack. But speaking of big deal, Glock makes his way up the Adams stairs and finds the kill onto the man in garage.
Yeah, pretty even as we approach the halfway point of the round. A little sporadic gunfights going out, but on balance, MVG have been winning these so far. SilentFamily, I think you can pontificate all you want, and we can say, oh, it's this, it's that, it's the other. At the end of the day, they just need to start hitting heads, I say.
Yeah, down is the Goyo as he's managed to get himself on towards that main hallway, but Dollis still going to be on this upstairs as she is just checking out where this guy is. I don't know if he's quite certain that there's one still up above. Valk trying to take the peek onto the hatch. The Maverick going to be standing around, not really knowing what's before him. Dollis coming down those red stairs. There's just not really a lot of contention going on. People are firing bullets back and forth, but there's Glock finding Hassie through the wall, and if there's a pick you want, it's that one, 9-3. Now as Hassie falls to him, in comes the Solace, finds one pick inside a stock on that stage, and now there's another one right in front of her. Takes a lot of damage, isn't able to find the kill, and Goldies is going to be able to clean that one up for himself. 2 versus 3. Valk getting aggressive.
That was a lovely drop there, though. That's changed things up a lot. Goldie's 1v1 situation now, following the drop, going up against Marks. Goldie's super low in health. They've got to hit ahead for the first shot, otherwise it's done. The info's there, 9 seconds on the clock. Bomb in hand, diffuser in hand, but the intel's there. They're going to have to fake this, because here comes the push.
Oh, almost.
Well...
It was very close. He managed to get himself through into the site. Didn't quite know where the plant was going down. It was behind the chair. but gets the flick and finds the kill before it's too late. At least it's not a 6-0 half.
Yeah, I mean, very well played there in the dying moments. To let the plant go down, just let them, force them into committing to the plant, because then you can just approach them, and then you choose your moment, choose your shot, you can fire them at your leisure. So well played in that 1v1 to claw back a little bit of momentum for Silent Family, and long may that continue so we get a competitive map out of this. But 5-1 on their defensive half on what I think universally is considered the defender side of the map is pretty powerful. You can tell MolotovGang have scrimmed the hell out of this because their executes are really good. Their site setup, they all know what they're doing, and they hit certain key moments at certain times. And they've got different strats for the same site every so often on attack, where sometimes they'll be attacked really, really fast, and it's a controlled rush. Sometimes they'll be slow and methodical, and you won't see a bullet fired in anger until halfway through the round. They're really powerful on Clubhouse.
Yeah, the setup as well is like super different on the side of MVG as they move on to the defense. So they're going to be playing that sort of. I don't even remember what team it was. It was one of the teams at the last major event that was in playoffs. I know that much. But they ran this clash like all the time on club, and it was so oppressive for everyone to deal with that they just ended up winning most of their rounds on this map. So it's like just the ability to be able to slow down this sort of contention. They leave that wall soft. They have the electrification on the wall in cache to slow down any sort of like contention into CC. Make sure the Clash has the ability to rotate out, and she is just going to be hovering around on this main stairs right now, slowing down the ace, stopping him from getting too aggressive. But he is going to be trying to take the peek onto his army, and well, now we see the attackers are more than likely just going to stall until the Ashe actually manages to contest onto red stairs.
Yeah, that's really good play there. I mean, I think shields are very powerful in the current meta anyway. That won't come as any surprise to anyone. But, they're just playing it really well, where their job right now is just to delay. Slow that enemy team down. Don't let them, play to their own schedule. Control the tempo of the game, and just kind of manage the game from that side. That they've got to get a flank on. They've just got to rotate round to have a chance of clearing her out.
Yeah, a lot of angles now being made on towards the CC. It limits the Clash heavily as to where she can play. So now limited to being stuck by this bedroom door. And realistically, if someone has that bedroom window open, they can play the angle on towards construction and maybe see if they can try and find the head from behind. And if she's not super aware of this, then she could get herself caught in this position.
All the angles in the world aren't good if you've got no one peeking them, though. And finally, they do start peeking them, but all from one angle. That shield, you're not penning it. You're not getting through it. You've got to go around it.
Oh, definitely. And it looks like their actual plan is to sort of confirm that nobody is going to be on the roam and try and play these angles to see if they can find anyone else. I think the shield is going to be the least of their worries right now as well. Passy manages to find one onto the Dekebi. No cams for the attackers as the defender died a little later. And, well, with the frags going either way, we're in a 1 versus 4 now for this attack. Hugo just left all alone with it all to do. It's going to be potentially a 6-1 here as MVG are just looking super confident. We're just going to sit here, play this as a makeshift tactical timeout. They know exactly where he is. They know he's outside of this window, and more than likely we're going to see at least a player jump out here, probably the Clash, because she is close to that window in the dying seconds. But it looks like no, they're just going to play it completely safe.
Well, not completely, but
well, yeah.
I know you probably, if you want to jump out, you jump out sooner than that, don't you? Know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was really well played. The setup of the site there, again, they've scrimmed it really well. They've practiced their strategy. You saw the Azami barricade there, protecting the Clash from what you mentioned, protecting her from any kind of flanking maneuver from that bedroom gym window. So they're doing pretty well in terms of just thinking of all these little extra things. How do we enable the Clash? Okay, well, we make sure no one can shoot her from behind. And that's it. You've completely locked down construction. Congratulations. Now, what we saw there was a lack of flexibility coming out from SilentFamily, in that they saw the clash, they opened all of these angles, and then they pushed through that angle. But the clash can see it. The calls are going out. All these players, they're all talking to each other, and it was very, very fast when the defenders countered that. I mean, all the kills came through in a span of about 20 seconds, leaving poor Hugo out there on his own.
Yeah, I think with as I brought up before with this clash, more than likely probably going to be trying out the same sort of thing, where she plays over towards this construction, but if there's any sort of presence of a shield over towards lounge or rafters, she's probably going to make her way over that way in order to give a bit of assistance to whoever's going to be over there. But it looks like they haven't really got anyone on rafters. Valk's going to be just now hopping through the window. Well, not Valk, Azami just going to be hopping through the windows, playing herself over there. I'm losing my head at this point. I'm just listing all the wrong operators. The USG going to be opening up that door as well. Hugo has already got himself statured inside of stock, and this clash might be at a bit of a no man's land right now, as this could be the perfect opportunity for them to catch her, but they have to try and filter out this Azami first.
Yeah, I think Clash is being kept safe there by the presence of a Rafters player, so they can't actually push that garage door to get a shot into her back, and now she can prevent any access either from blue window or from main. Or from stock, in fact. So that's a very powerful. Again, looking at how to best enable an operator, and Aina's an incredibly strong player.
Indeed. He's playing this super well as well. The concussions coming in, the Ash getting super aggressive, trying to take the engagement onto Just, but Just manages to win it out. Glock finds the refrag though, as now the Clash has managed to just get away out. And this is where it goes super bad for the side of SilentFamily. You're letting this Clash escape. She's now in another safe position, a position that's much safer than she was in even before. And now you've got to deal with it. Speaking of deal with it, there's Timo to find one onto the man in lower garage, and you've got yourself a man advantage. You just need to make something work with it.
Yeah, I think the drop was maybe a little bit of a misplay. Now they've got access to Raptors, and you can see Timu pushing through there. The call will go through, absolutely. But now they can overload on the Rafters and start to really push from that same level. Whereas Sophia, poor Sophia, they're still... Glock's just still sat there having a hell of a time trying to push past this Clash, who can now retreat back up red stairs. Someone will cover behind, so they're not going to get pushed from red stairs. And would you look at that? Now they can cover breach, and now they can cover Rafters window.
Yeah, good thing for Glock there is Glock was playing a perfect distraction in order to allow his team to take the Raptors side. But the problem now is the fact that this Clash is still standing. And you've got to get past it with two other players still alive. So as they're got these positionings, they're trying to take the engagement. Marks finds one, gets himself in, but C4 goes out. C4 misses, Plant's now going down behind the bomb. Hassi finds one onto the man that's going to be positioned on rafters, and they're not quite aware of where this knock is. Hassi finds another, has to find this final kill. The Thermite takes the swing, he finds it! What a beautiful kill from him!
Yeah, huge final kill. And who else? Who else is it going to be but Hassi? I mean, yeah, that was fantastic. I mean, what a defense. What a showcase to see, exactly how you hold a site. First time we go to CC Cash, and they absolutely school, giving a masterclass on how it's done in defense in depth. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic round, just solo, but what a round to take a map on. That's
Yeah,
a real statement of intent.
it's unfathomable. Like, what an insane play from Hassi and Aina there. Like, especially with, as I brought up, like how powerful the clash can be. It was super effective. And then the entire sort of like basically spin botting that Hassi did in that final round in the middle of the site was so perfect. And the positioning was good. The knock wasn't able to catch him out inside the cache after he found the kill onto the guy that was on the rafters window because he rotated over towards the door. Perfect. It's so well played by them, and I think that going into the second map, we're gonna have to see a lot from SilentFamily in order to be able to bring this back. But well, it's their
Absolutely.
map, isn't it?
Absolutely, it is. 1-0 then to Molotov Gang. But GG go next. They've got to get there. I do believe we'll go to a very brief break now, but before we go, one of the things that the community is doing is we are supporting a member of the community who, has been really integral, really, as we've gone along, called Whiskey Glitter.
Yeah.
If it's not already in the in the Twitch chat, you'll definitely be able to find the link on Twitter, as I believe one of our lovely admins will very panically put one up in a moment to a GoFundMe. We're not asking for donations; we're just asking for awareness. If you do have stuff to give, do feel free to give it. If not, just share the love, right? But yeah, that's just something that we're really advocating for on today's stream. But beyond that, I think that's us for a minute or two. Don't go anywhere.
Hello and welcome back to ESA Season 9. We are once again in the position of getting ready for Map 2. And, well, if you haven't been keeping up with things, we'll quickly just shoot over to the map bands just to, give us a bit of a refresh. What are we thinking for map number 2? Consulate.
Yeah, so this is going to be Silent Family's pick, and they picked Consulate. They picked to attack on Consulate, and they picked Consulate 4 of the 6 games that they've played so far. The only 2 times that they didn't pick it was once when it was picked for them, and once when it was banned out before. So, it's safe to say Consulate is very much a favorite of Silent Family. MolotovGang didn't ban it out. They chose to ban Bank and Border beforehand. So it might be the case where they've looked at this and they've said, yeah, we can take that off them. Or it might have been an oversight. And we could see a bit more of a competitive map too. Because unfortunately, Silent Family, I think it might be a bit rude perhaps to mention, but 7-1 in that first map, 7-1 over
A
on
little rough.
Clubhouse. It's a bit rough.
Yeah.
You can only say maybe they weren't warmed up, maybe they weren't fully in the headspace, whereas Molotov Gang were there, from the first step. But it's an important game. Like the winner of this match goes through to the grand final on December 22nd. The grand
Yeah.
final.
It's
The
as I
loser.
said between maps as well. Like it's very fundamentals based on Clubhouse, which is a little scary coming into a map like Consulate that is as slow as it is normally, and well, as dynamic as it is, should I say? Because like the basement tends to be quite slow, the upstairs can be fast, and well, yeah, we just have to see how they want to play it, really.
Yeah, Consulate. It's one of those maps where since the change, I think a lot of teams they've really had to adapt how they approach it. It was one of those maps, Consulate, back where it was very similar to Oregon, very similar to Clubhouse in that there's a set way of doing things. There always was, and I kind of feel like that's not quite the case anymore. There's still a couple of key milestones that you need to hit for certain sites, but it's one of those maps where nowadays you kind of see a couple of, I would say, controversial or not too commonly seen setups that might throw off an attacking side, and equally you can see some pretty kooky attacking setups as well. So we'll see some interesting things come out, but as you say, it is a slow map. I think that plays into Molotov Gang's sensibilities a little more than it does Silent Families, because they like to be quite methodical, but they're going to have to get to the attack phase of their gameplay in order to enjoy that, because they're going to be defending first. Silent Family, they've chosen to attack. They're going to go out and chase the game.
Yeah, it's just one of them really. Like with the map being as big as it is, and with the rooms being as small as they are, like a lot of the rooms can be pretty easy to clear, but it's looks like we are going to be heading straight in to the match right now. Consulate is the map at hand, and you want to talk us through these bands?
Yeah, so last time round we didn't see any kind of breach enablement be banned. We didn't really see much in the way of intel operators be banned. We saw a shield. We didn't see the clash get banned, which was very important on MVG's defense. I do wonder if Silent Family on their ban will opt to take that off the field. But first of all, we're going to see Nook taken off the field. Nook's not often seen in a ban phase, is it? Is she?
Yeah, one of those operators that kind of fizzled away after the sort of change to how a gadget works. Um, because she just was stupidly powerful and then kind of just got sacked off because of the way she was played. It became a bit harder with the way other people were deciding to, position themselves around it. And well, Monty goes out next. And I mean, on the
Not too much.
defense, it's probably just gonna be Romas, isn't it?
Yeah, not too much to
Oh,
analyze about the Monty ban, but there it is, the Clash ban coming out. So that very very strong Clash play from Aina last round, in the last 2 rounds of map one, over on Gym Master, over on CC Cash. That Clash play was phenomenal. It was really really well executed. Silent Family have seen that, and I would imagine they didn't come into this game before map one expecting to ban Clash, but there she is on the ban board.
yeah, definitely so. And well, as we get ourselves ready to go into round number one, Silent Family starting on this attack. They are just going to be bringing along a lot of this sort of like flex utility. They have the Twitch, they have the Brava, that sort of intel flex utility, alongside the Nomad, who is going to be playing a lot around that flank watch. And making sure that nobody is able to come up for those stupidly late round roams and catching them off guard, because we know how Consulate's played, we know how it ends up. It always ends up with these teams just taking a bit slow, and then eventually just trying to come in for a big collapse. But yeah, as I said before, can be quite fast, can have that Amaru come in through the CEO window, that sort of thing. So we'll have to see how they decide to play it. But with this operator lineup on the attack right now, I'm expecting something a little more methodical.
I love little frost traps, not flash traps. I love little frost traps like that, where it's not, this very lazy stereotype of, oh, I'm just gonna put it next to a window or I'm gonna put it next to a door, which can be powerful. It's set in against the wall. It's set it aside slightly, and I think that can be really powerful because it's one of the things that maybe you don't always look for. And you can push in, look to get close to a wall, boom, you're in a frost trap, and that can be incredibly powerful because you're also not obscured by any part of the wall. Like, it's very easy to swing you in that position. You're not obscured at all. You are in the attacker's kind of area. So that's I do love little traps like that.
I don't know if anyone on stream saw that, but I was kind of amazed that IQ wasn't taking damage there. I know she's on the rappel and everything, but it's like the Goyo canister was burning right below her because of how it was placed on the window. Nade goes in, trying to catch out Aina, as he is just going to be on this frost, trying to take the swings on towards admin, but backs himself off as they get themselves positioned inside and start getting a little bit more aggressive. The angle is there in towards the little kitchenette area, as well, we are just going to be falling off entirely as a defense. We still have this man over towards vending. It is going to be a warden, so it's going to be a little harder to clear out, but no utility to deny any of these nades out. But there is going to be bullets to deny players approaching, as we find our first kill.
Yeah, good first kill from Goldies. Really important for MolotovGang, without being able to rely on Clash, to start taking people off the board sooner rather than later, and they've managed to do that at the halfway point.
And there's another one as just comes around on the doorway, playing close on that smoke or mute, sorry, as he tries to take another one, but ends up getting himself caught. And well, with these players just hovering around on these corners, trying to clear out this man on vending, but unable to really do so. He's not really taking any peeks, and he's just kind of holding on to this pixel angle. Ace almost too aggressive in that position, and does know the angle's going to be there on the vending machine. They need to be able to deal with this player. He takes the swing onto the IQ. Timo finds a beautiful two-piece as the Goyo from far away trying to get the peek through the hole. The swing comes out, though, from the Aina Frost that is just going to be positioned in the site that they're trying to contest. And looks like we're back into a little bit of another stall. Positions trying to be taken in this last 20 seconds as Aina trapped inside of the corner. The last man standing has to try and Rambo it up as he finds one, needs to find the second, the shotgun in hand. Pocket shot is going to be a pretty big deal. He knows it's coming, and Glock unable to find the bullets he needs in order to clear him out and win that round for his team. Close on both sides.
Yeah, much closer with the absence of a clash. I think the Warden did did themselves a bit of an injustice when they overpeaked there. But that's a fantastic clutch up from Aina. And this is what I was saying about MolotovGang last round, last map, where you know th- th- they've got some really good individual players in terms of we always talk about Hasi. Somehow everything seems to come back to Hasi in the same way that all roads lead to Rome. But the whole team have that capability. The whole team can frag out. Hasi was kept quiet that round, so Aina dropped a 3K. So it's not just one member of the team is like the star, as it were. You know, it, all of them are kind of capable of it, which is really good. And when you do see the Warden fall early, and maybe things not go to plan, you do see these clutches. Split site. That's a choice.
Yeah, it's a very I don't want to say common, but it's becoming increasingly common as we sort of flesh out Consulate more and more. Because something a lot of people do tend to forget is in a comp setting, Consulate is still very new. There is still a lot to be worked out around the way certain rooms can be played and the way certain operators can be played in certain areas and what you can actually do. So I think a lot of testing is coming out, and this is one of those sites that's ended up being pretty good for the defense. Well, we are going to see a bit of a trick on towards this Ace Selma charge. There is going to be an angle, but no full breach for anybody to try and get themselves in through. Full shotgun, making angles just below to make sure he can toss the C4 if need be. And yeah, this hatch play is going to be like very strong for these defenders in the later portion of the round. So where this Maestro chooses to put himself is going to be pretty
Oh,
impactful. But it turns out Glock decides to, take that initiative for him and put him in a grave.
yeah, Variox usually a little stronger on the game than that, but getting served a big old justice there by Glock.
Indeed. And Hassi, I think, found a little bit of an engagement onto Yugo, which is why Yugo's quite low HP, but it is now going to be Marks just waiting for the peek on towards this hatch. And, well, as someone tries to take the peek onto the door, he's not going to falter. He's not going to change. And he's going to maintain this position to try and take any of these engagements necessary. Another goo mine is going to be tossed down by that Legion. And it's pretty difficult. Even in this 4v5 situation, the attackers are kind of struggling to really find any sort of semblance of ground. They've got a lot closer to site, but they're still almost on the back foot.
Yeah, if you go split site in a casual game or even a ranked game, you're probably losing it, right? But in comp, where you can scrim strategies and you can practice them, see if they work, this can turn into an extraordinarily strong site as we see those kills start rolling in from MVG. Rogora, gonna bring it back a little bit. Hugo, gonna bring back another one on Just, bringing us down to a 2v2, 30 seconds on the clock. They do not have the diffuser. They're just gonna have to go and click on some heads.
Yeah, diffuser's cold on the ground in that little supply doorway corridor. And, well, Legion's going to be holding it quite aggressively. Hassi positioned towards those spiral stairs as the hatch drop comes out from Yugo. He tries to take the swing on towards the castle, isn't quite able to find it, and another swing tries to come out, but Hassi's there to deny it before it even happens. Well,
Yeah.
that's going to be a round for them. Defenders win round 2. 2 in a row for them so far.
Yeah, when the diffuser went down, that call will have gone out, and Aina and Hasi, they didn't actually even need to hold the site. They could yield the site, which can be very difficult to defend, late game when all the site setup from the attackers has been complete. They didn't need to hold it. They could just pull back a little bit and hold the diffuser and wait and invite SilentFamily to have to drop, give those kind of audio cues as to where they are, and then they can get peaked. So that's really powerful play from MolotovGang. You're reacting to the situation with a really strong setup, but then also adapting how they're approaching the setup as they go. They're going to take us down to basement now. Basement, a stalwart. Kind of a permanent first choice back when Consulate before it had its rework. How do you think they're going to fare on this one? Do you think it's going to be any different from SilentFamily? They chose this map, they chose to attack it, and they're currently 2-0 down.
Yeah, as I said, the thing about this site is it can be very slow. It's probably the only site on this map that doesn't really have a strat that revolves around rushing. You can just kind of throw yourself in the yellow door with a blitz, but it's a bit difficult to do if you have no real information on the first floor. So the vertical angles could be a bit of a big issue for you in the later round if you go for that sort of strategy. And well, with the Goyo canisters inside of the first floor, it is going to mean for them that, well, they've got to clear it. They've got to make sure that there isn't still a player lingering. And speaking of lingering, it is going to be Goldies on the yellow stairs.
Yeah, very traditional to do a top floor roam clear on Consular, both pre and post rework. The intel's going to come through. They've got the red pings. They know that they've been there in the area recently, but SilentFamily not able to find MolotovGang just yet. Not able to pick up these early kills. They are going to use their intel. They are going to get these pings coming out from the Temu, but nothing doing just yet.
Yeah, angles being made, impacts going out to deny the vertical pressure from the Ram, and Ram is one of those operators that is stupidly effective at that vertical pressure. I think the thing when it comes down to Ram in favor of an operator like Sledge or Buck, it's like that utility still stands even if you know, it gets shut down. It still makes such a large hole that can be super oppressive for the later round, but it is going to be just to find the first kill on those vertical angles. It is going to be rammed to fall, and as I said, these holes will persist, but it's a matter of working with what you have. If you have quite a lot, it is going to be Rigora from the back in order to be able to find one more onto Bandit. That's going to equalize the man count, and with a minute left, I'm not really too sure how quick they can take this.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, been saying, Consulate's a very slow map, but this has been, you know, this taking the biscuit really, isn't it? SilentFamily not too. Oh, that's something you see every day. A vertical breach kill. That was a spicy one, but it's not going to be overly effective, as we're going to see now. The denial comes through. Things like those Goyo canisters occupying time for these defenders. They're just going to be able to sit back. They are now outnumbered as Hugo picks up another kill on Goldies, but we've got the roam coming out, and all of a sudden, Hugo double kill, Hassie with a kill, 2v1. We've got to find a clutch from somewhere. Who else would you pick to do it but Hassie?
Yeah, and start planting in an area where there's no real vertical pressure going on. The Malusi gadget is going to alert her of the Deimos' position, but as he's rotated himself away, he's got himself in a better position. Timo on the pixel angle between the breach and the yellow pillar is able to find the head of Hassie, and it's going to be around for the attacking side. That's going to give them a bit of an edge here, potentially even push them forward towards that 4-2 half.
Yeah, it was very important for them to pick up a round. I'm not going to say early because that was round 3, but it was important for them to take something soon. Because otherwise the mental game gets starts getting played, and if you just start hemorrhaging rounds after round after round, that can be extremely damaging. Given the little break that we had in between last map and this, I imagine they've sat down and the leaders within the team, Glock and that, they've said, put that on your mind. Be a goldfish, as Ted Lasso would say. Be a goldfish. It didn't happen. It doesn't matter. All there is to focus on is our map. It's Consulate. Now, they went 2-0 down, but they've pulled one back, and now they need to really galvanize. They really need to pull in a little bit of momentum, pull together as a team, because at the moment, despite despite it now being 1-2 in the map, MolotovGang, they really have been taking SilentFamily to the cleaners so far.
Yeah, I think something that is like real important to consider as well is just the fact that like you've got a full site rotation all the way through now, so you need to really be able to think about what did they do and what do you think they're going to do differently on this defending side, and how can you really play around it. These repels coming out from the attackers, the Nomad on cams outside that window, now going to be having her gun up, as this mute could potentially just get himself flying out of that breach and see if he can find that kill. It is going to be called by Einer as he puts the air jab on the door. Is going to get spotted and reinforce off that hole just to make sure that, you know, they can't catch him out with it again. He isn't going to take that risk twice.
I think Nomad was very not lucky not to have their head removed there. That was a really, opportunistic run out, and none really came of it. They didn't really properly go for it, but very, very opportunistic. Of course, you can't cook grenades any longer, so that's just getting the aim right and making sure it gets through. But no frag kills coming out here.
Yeah, the lack of like a Wamai or a Jaeger or even an Aruni in order to try and deny these throwables is like a little questionable to me. I haven't really put too much thought analytically into the way this defense is laid out, but I think like they could really benefit from someone like that, especially with now the Warden being forced off towards this long desk, which isn't a bad position, but still could be better if he had that position on the vending machine. Just gonna be playing close on the door.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think if you want a Warden to play, and dig in like a tick there, you need to give them something to defend themselves with, really. And I think that looks like you are really well timed. That's why you bring a Warden. So that flash absolutely ineffective. They're not going to get pushed because I think they know that it's Warden that they're facing there. But the kills will start coming out. Goldies picking up the first one on Hugo. We had a really good round last round.
Yeah, Einer finds another, and now it's this 3v5 situation, and this is where it becomes scary if you're on the attack. SilentFamily going to be a little worried and tentative to be able to try and take these positions now. The Warden behind the long desk does get himself caught, but not without a trade. Hassi is there to pick up Nomad, and now it's just going to be this IQ of Timo and Rigora in this final position. Speaking of which, Goldies comes up the spiral stairs, manages to find that kill, and Ash could potentially be caught here, but Hassi gets himself caught instead. Sees the man on the angle, but doesn't quite catch him in time as he comes through the door, gets himself that kill, and is going to be another round for this defense. Getting a little worried if you're on the side of the attack.
Yeah, I think you would be. This is your map now. You're maybe not looking at an ideal attacker split. Max you can get now is 3-3. 4-2 would maybe be acceptable, but there's another two. There's another 2.5 rounds, round 5, round 6, in which they can turn that into 5-1 for MolotovGang. Now we saw how good they are on attack when it comes to Clubhouse. They're little bit of an unknown quantity over on Consulate, but you can imagine having seen exactly how often SilentFamily picked it. You can imagine they've probably scrimmed it once or twice, and you've seen that with how they're setting up their sites, how they're approaching the game so far. They're being very methodical and they know what they're doing. So there is an organization there that indicates that they've been planning to come here for some time. SilentFamily, they just need to start a little bit more organization, a little bit more collaboration, not holding the same angles when they're pushing through rooms, which I think has gotten them killed a couple of times, not just on this map. And it'll come good for them, but they're really running out of opportunities for it to come good for them.
Yeah, Mozzie being played a little more now, considering he's got that 4th pest, and with the mute Mozzie setup, having 4 mute jammers and the 4 Mozzie pest is going to mean that they have a lot to play with, but a bit of a scrappy engagement going on between the Pulse and the Twitch here, as Pulse managed to get himself out of there, even though he was stuck on the outside for a little while. It's Mozzie that actually gets himself caught first as well. He didn't have a pillar to play around outside, and Hassi finds another. It's just trade after trade, but we've got a bit of a Hassi strat going on from Glock here as he's managed to get himself just secured in the site. He's ready. He has all of the power positions available to him, and he is just going to be making his way down the corridor.
Yeah, Glock just kind of walking onto site, but key thing there is they've not actually managed to pick up any kills off the back of it. Hassi really rapidly relocating by going through the jump down. They're doing a little Hassi strat of their own there, aren't they? And they know where this Twitch is. There it is. Ooh, do they? Ah, I'm looking at the wrong person. There we go. Good casting.
It's all right. There is a lot of potential for both of these sides, though, as well. The angle's being watched by the player above. I'm not too sure who that is. I think that's Hassi, right? just going to be watching those angles, seeing if he can catch anybody out towards the main entrance. And it is going to be Marks that nearly does get himself shut down there. He's going to just be rotating around with that diffuser. They know they have the site presence, and, well, they know there's players above. They know everything here. They just need to play it correctly and, you know, force that retake from the defenders in order to actually be able to come out of this round with a win. And in that corner where the hard ceiling is where the plant's going to go down. Bulletproof camera spotted out on those spiral stairs. Hatch going to be watched by the Ash, and Twitch in a beautiful position as well, as they are just going to be waiting for this retake, as I said. Variox finds one. Marks is there to find a second on the trade, and as we see both of these players just stacking up goldies with a beautiful shot onto the guy holding the diffuser. A bit of gunfire coming out from this Ash as Hassi knows the position is going to be thrown out the goo mine. Takes the swing anyway. Glock is on a double potential for a triple here as well. Mute's now going to take the, or not Mute, Pulse has to take the engagement as quick as possible. The pistol comes out.
Too slow.
But there's no time in order to be able to get this deep.
Very well played. Attackers win. Very, very, very well played by the attackers there. You know, the game being decided by defuse, you know, all they had to do was buy time. They didn't necessarily have to pick up the kills. I think MVG maybe struggled a little bit. You know, Glock fired their weapon. There wasn't any rotates, so there was no reason to think they were going through another way. But, you know, catching out Hassi, the Legion, looking the wrong direction, you know, that's not something maybe would happen too often to Hassi. So really good play from Glock in the end. Played their life and ran down the clock long enough to let that defuse run its course. Really, really good play from SilentFamily. And now they've got two. Okay, it's not two in a row, but it's two. And now they can start looking at picking up a pretty decent attacking half. You know, max it goes to is 4-2. That's your ideal defender's half. But now they can start pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. So, you know, maybe expect them to really shine in this last round, because this is the one where I think this is going to decide the momentum for the second half of the split.
Yeah, pretty high potential for this to go 3-3 now as well. This was the site they won previous. Or no, it's the split site, isn't it? I thought it was the other basement site, losing everything here. But yeah, they didn't lose. Did they win the split site before? I think they lost, right?
No, they lost split site round 2.
Yeah. So it looks like we're going to be in a position where they've got to try and adapt to what was given the first time, because more than likely we're not going to see too many changes from the defending side, considering it worked. And they're just going to try and face whatever problems are presented to them as they come. So we'll have to see how they try and adapt on both sides, really.
Yeah, I mean, split, you know, again, like we said earlier, it's one that they've stratted. Not a very good site if you're, you know, solo queuing, or, you know, even if you're playing just in a random stack, but in comp, incredibly powerful. They are going to affect a breach through basement. That's going to be basically uncontested through the garage, so they're going to be in the building reasonably rapidly. But a minute goes by, no kills on the board just yet. Maybe SilentFamily are picking up one from MolotovGang's kind of plethora of techniques and being nice and slow and nice and methodical.
Yeah, I like that angle there from Just, as he's just going to reposition himself. There is a bit of defense on the side of where the Maestro was positioned before and where he is positioned now. So they are just going to be playing around each other, giving each other a bit more of an opportunity to, you know, reacquire that safety, be happy in their position, and potentially even not lose that Maestro as early as they did last time. It's going to be Hassi to find the first kill, though. What a shock, as he finds the Twitch that is going to be just kind of hovering around. Ash, though, is going to be on that second floor. Hassi, beautiful little flick from him, as Ash was prepared for that gunfight, but he wins it anyway. Channeling that nah-eyed win mentality. Trades coming back and forth on the opposite side. The Maestro is going to be there to fall, as Ace's bullets from that AK do decide his fate. Now, in this 2v4 situation, 1v4 now as Goldies finds Ace. Bandit of Just is going to be taking the swing in towards the closet, and that is going to be another round for this defense, bringing us to that 4-2 half that we expected coming into, well, the second half.
Yeah. What follows the first half, eh? I think
Yeah.
MolotovGang. I think that's a really good showing of themselves. SilentFamily. I think you could argue they should be maybe a bit disappointed there. But I mean, particularly given the performance on map one, I know I thought that maybe they were saving themselves from map two, or maybe they were just like kind of mentally saying, this one's a wash. We get them on our map. To go attack first and then only take 2 from 6, it's a poor record. Eric Ten Hag got sacked for less. So it's it's not maybe not the kind of precedent that you'd like to set. But here we go, second half of map 2. MolotovGang 3 rounds now from the grand final. If they can pick up three rounds on the trot, 3 rounds, and they're in the grand final on December 22nd here on ESA. That's they're close. They're really, really close now, aren't they?
Yeah, very close as we come into this second half. The defense has been switched around. SilentFamily now going to be playing it, as we've already discussed. And, well, Rigora was almost not playing it as bullets came flying through that window and nearly took his head off. But gets himself out of there, and we are just going to be, once again, in a bit of a stalled position. They're just going to be trying to take these positionings, get themselves prepared for actually being able to start taking the inside of the map. But more than likely, we're probably going to be seeing Hasi do that yesterday.
I do quite like when you see IQ being used to hunt down operators.
Oh,
that's
Hasi
a lovely,
dies.
that's a fantastic opening kill. That Hugo taking out Hasi with a C4, and Hasi really big on the impact kills. They've been fantastic on the frags this map in particular. Maybe not the most prolific. Goldie's hitting on 9, Hasi on 8, but taking a Hasi off the board that early, that really stymies this Molotov attack. Really fantastically timed frag.
Yeah, beautiful little opening kill there. Hasi going down does spell a bit of disaster for this attacking side early on, so it's going to be more difficult for them to really do what they want. Though, they have managed to get themselves positioning anyway inside of the admin area and even towards this kitchenette sort of room. But with the vending shield still up, with a bulletproof cam still being there, just like the fear or the panic stations that really happens from them just having that utility there, means that it's going to be pretty difficult to try and swing past without clearing it out first. And, well, you do have the Ash. I don't know if that was just onto the mirror that was on the far side, but probably going to be taking out that shield. Yeah, indeed it was. And, I mean, they know where the Goyo is. For some reason, not shooting that Flores drone, but either way, it doesn't really have a grand amount of impact.
True, but you wouldn't really expect a team to let that go past them, would you? So that was a bit of an odd moment there. MolotovGang down to a minute on the clock, down 1 man, but a very interesting rappel. We do love a little spiral rappel. Always a risky one, but quite funny when they come through. And that's going to get Goldies into a position where maybe they weren't expecting him to be. So he's in a good position to maybe start forming a crossfire with the rest of this MVG team. We can see they're holding yellow stairs, maybe a bit fruitlessly right now, SilentFamily. But 30 seconds to go. They have every member on the board, and they are working this clock down. 20 seconds, that's essentially a 6th defender.
Yeah, and I mean, with Goldies in that position on towards long desk, only 15 seconds left is going to be a bit of a problem, but that position is so good. Diffuser now down though, and Glock is going to be getting super aggressive, misses the shotgun shell, but it's not really going to mean anything as the defenders win anyway. SilentFamily protect the bombs, but all down to, well, pretty much just stall. They stalled for so long with these operators, with their utility, and even with that early pick onto Hasi, because Hasi is really the driving force for the side of MVG, as we've seen.
Yeah, I think that impact frag really early on kind of set the pace. I don't think Hasi is like a key player, Sorry, let me rephrase. I don't think Hasi is the key player.
Like end all be all, yeah.
I do think he factored quite heavily into how they were planning on attacking the site. So that maybe stymied the MolotovGang, who never really picked up the momentum after that. They didn't pick up any kills. Even through as far as 20 seconds to go, SilentFamily, they just buttoned down the hatches, buttoned up, didn't they? Down inside the tank, dug in like a tick. So that's really really good round from them. They controlled the tempo of that round very well. But now they've got to go and do it elsewhere. 3-4. MolotovGang still only 3 rounds away from a grand final. SilentFamily playing for their lives right now.
Yeah, IQ being brought along once again, so this Scopos is gonna have a little bit of trouble if he isn't too careful. Big fan of Scopos. I just wanted to bring it up. I think Scopos has a lot of potential inside of a competitive format, but it just requires the right sort of presence and play style. I think we could see a lot from this operator in the future, but once again, as I said, if Consulate's still new, then it means this operator is still being worked out as well. So just keep that in mind.
I think you need someone who's incredibly mechanically gifted to understand the timings of when Scopos can and should be switched to. We're gonna see the Blitz here. They're gonna jump out. They're gonna find one of those Scopos drones. So we're not gonna really see anything in terms of how that's gonna affect the round to go far. Goldie's jumping in as Blitz and just pop them all in the head. Easy as.
Oh yeah, and well, pocket shotty from one of those defenders. Not too sure who. I think it was Goyo, but I don't think Goyo has a pocket shotty. Well, Scopo's going to be isolated, left on an island blitz, as Goldie is just coming down, ready to take him out, but doesn't go out without a fight. Takes out that IQ, getting revenge for, his little drone going down that he left upstairs, and B4 goes out, isn't able to find anything as of yet. Potentially deals a bit of damage, but not really able to tell as well. The second one goes out and definitely deals some damage. That's your shield gone, as Bandit is in a bit of a no man's land right now.
Yeah, they're trading as they go. It's a bit more of an active round than last round. We're not down to the last 20 seconds before we see some action, but it is still a little bit slow, a little bit methodical, which isn't a bad thing at all. Veriox picking up the second of the round, taking us down to 3v2.
I felt the clench there. I'm not gonna lie, I really did. As
the shots were ringing up through the hatch, yeah.
Yeah, it's
a bit of squeaky bum time for a
bit scary, yeah, squeaky bum time, bro. As well, we've got some positions on the yellow stairs. Goyo canisters have been popped. That's 20 seconds. You've got to wait before you can really start making your way through, unless you're willing to just sprint through gunfire and literal fire. But yeah, pocket shotty on the Jackal is gonna create an angle to allow Hassi to find that kill. Bandit gonna fall. He does see. He's looking at this guy through the smoke. He doesn't know. But with Hassi on the hatch, you're not really going to be able to do much. The teabag there for the BM. And, well, that's going to be an attacking round. Bringing themselves up to, what, 5-3?
Yep, 5-3. 2 rounds from the grand final for MolotovGang. And I think that's maybe a bit disappointing. In that 2v3 scenario, the way that they were configured, I actually kind of backed SilentFamily to pick that up. But unfortunately, and I don't know exactly why, we saw Marks kind of move away from the protection that that defense in depth and the protection that the mirror window holding from a distance, moving away from the protection that gave them, and they swung and were immediately popped through the verse. So from there it was very simple for 3 players to go and outmaneuver the Myra. So I was pretty disappointed to see that, because I actually think they could have held that had they not overpeaked. Maybe a little bit of excitement creeping in, a little ill discipline perhaps, which is unfortunate. You hate to see it. 5-3 though, MolotovGang, 2 rounds of the grand final as we say, and they're going to be attacking the same site, which I think is not a bad choice from SilentFamily. They took it the distance there. They only lost it at the depth of the round, so why not go back? We know we can do it. We just need to execute that that 1% better, and it's ours. So I don't really mind them going back in this instance.
This sprint bug really bothers me. I don't know what it is about it, but it just like it really messes with my head. I don't know if anyone else feels the same.
It leans into the uncanny valley. And I'll tell you what else leans into the uncanny valley. Glock picking up a second early frag on Hassie. This time not through C4, but through that spicy main weapon of Skirpus.
Yeah, that gun. I do think Scopus is a pretty like good operator. I wouldn't really say overpowered as much as I did before. But I do think that gun needs nerfing. It's comfortable in anybody's hands. Even if you just abandon the drone, if you're just looking for a gun, it's a solid choice. And yeah, I think it can be a bit of a problem in a lot of situations. I don't think it should be you know, sort of that good.
Well, I think you know I disagree. As Scopus, you know, as Veriox does very well to prove our point for me before getting fragged out themselves. I think when you choose Scopus, you're choosing actively not to bring something else that can be incredibly useful, right? And I think that's the limiting factor. It's not the fact that as an operator, Scopus is powerful. It's that in order to pick that powerful operator, you have to very deliberately not bring a different piece of utility. You have to leave your Goyo or your Valkyrie or, you know, your Vigil at home.
Yeah, I know. Being extremely cautious here as he's creating that angle on towards the lowest stairs. Doesn't quite know that there's this man above by the looks of things, but it's just going to be drifting away from him anyway, and instead positioning himself towards that Visa side. And well, as we see IQ on the vertical angle, just getting rid of those bandit batteries, giving a bit more potential for that thermite to really do well, but loses her life in the meantime, which is unfortunate for this attacking side. 2 versus 4 now, Blitz still in hand, basically full HP. He's going to have to do a lot of work here alongside this thermite in order to really be able to win out this round. 25 seconds.
Yeah, it seems to me that they're not as clinical as they were over on Clubhouse. They're nowhere near as clinical as they were. Blitz is going to charge, but their feet C's are going to get absolutely wrecked, and he's going to get pokeballed into the nth dimension as Rigora picks off them. Ina going to step back. They're going to assess. They know they're not too far away from victory. 5-4 it's going to be going into round 10. But they'll take that second just to run down the clock and have a little chat and say, do you know what, guys? Let's just reset. We know it's ours. Let's just have a little chat about how we do it.
Yeah, indeed. And as we go into round 10, I think the side of MVG are kind of like, well, what kind of happened? They seem to have woken up since the last, like the side of SilentFamily seem to have woken up from the previous map, and they are just doing a hell of a lot more. Now they're on this defensive side. They have already, you know, sort of given that one round, but have managed to bring themselves to in the meantime. So we have kind of left ourselves in this position where they are also on track for this 4-2 half. And I think potentially this could go to all the way to the 15 rounds.
Absolutely, what an exciting prospect. SilentFamily, I mean, on defense, I think the key thing is that MolotovGang, they don't have the ability to control the tempo that they displayed on Clubhouse when they were attacking. You know, it's quite clear that SilentFamily, in terms of defense, they're really happy just to hold. You know, case in point, 2 rounds so far on SilentFamily's defense have been decided by the timer. They've won on the timer in round 7 and round 9. And they only lost round 8 in a post-plant scenario.
Oh yeah, it's definitely been a lot tighter in this half when it comes down to both the wins and the losses, but there have been a couple rounds that have just really sort of solidified SilentFamily as being a bit more of an oppressive force than the side of MVG on a few of these sites at least, because you know, they managed to come out of that one with, like, what, 4 still standing? And then they had to give it up on time on the attack in order to talk it out, get themselves ready. But speaking of talk it out, a bit of a conversation going on between Ine and Hugo through the floor. And, well, it looks like Ine is coming out of that conversation with a win. Amaru comes flying into that CEO window. Grim going to be holding off anybody that tries to get too aggressive, but potentially going to be trying to go for this Uh, quick plant. And see if they can have some fun with that, I guess.
Yeah, and this is one of the things. I think Buck is criminally underused in that role of causing
Ooh.
upwards verticality, and there we see Squeaky Bum Time once again, but this time for Regora as Buck. Those vertical holes, being able to make them vertically upwards. I feel like so many teams, they just don't make use of that in the way that MolotovGang are happy to. Glock going to pull one back, they're going to put Buck out their misery, bring it back to 4-4 with half the time elapsed. So they're still in control, SilentFamily, they're still able to take these gunfights, and we're going to see a little bit of a running gun battle there up on the top floor. Ooh, Goldies, you can't be missing those.
Yeah, it looks like Glock is able to secure that one for himself, and now just going to be trying to dip himself out, get himself all the way back to site, get that stim right in his basket, as we're now in a position where the attack are actually on the back foot. They've lost their Amaru. I think another good thing that you brought up about not really utilizing the Buck for vertical pressure is also not really utilizing the you know, I'm losing my head here. Not really
No,
utilizing
I'm
like the
familiar.
smoke in that position and things like that, because they're able to play the smoke super aggressive on the corner, and having the dock just be there readily available to give the stim when he gets a bit contested or it gets a bit shaky. Regora comes around the corner, gets the kill on the just nice little round from them. Defense now equalizing at 5-5, but it gives them that little bit of security. They know they're not going to lose the smoke. They're a bit more sure of it rather than, you know, just kind of giving him up as a free pick or having him play in the Alamo position closer towards where that mirror window is. So we're finally going to see a tactical timeout as Molotov Gang have called it. What do you think they're saying here?
Well, they've lost 3 on the trot now, see, so I think, they're probably having a little chat amongst themselves to say, "Do you know what? Maybe this isn't the ideal situation, right? Maybe this is a bit of a rough one for us because, that so far throughout the game, they've stomped. But I think it's indicative of the fact that Molotov Gang, they're convinced that they can go and win this game in this map. You wouldn't use the timeout if you think, "Oh, we'll just win it on Skyscraper," which I hasten to add is it's a meta pick for them. They're incredibly good on Skyscraper, particularly on Skyscraper attack. So, they could have left it to to go on and maybe win the game later. They're not. They're
Hmm.
convinced they can end it here and now, and that's why they're taking that time out now, because they think we can go chase this. It's level pegging. You know, 2 rounds in a row wins it for either team.
Oh yeah, like it's it's definitely a map that could go either way on Consulate, but when it comes down to Sky, as you've said, it does heavily favor the opposite side. SilentFamily are going to be just trying to make sure that they actually are able to even get there before worrying about the you know, the stature of MVG on that map in general. So as we're taking it round by round at the moment, we are going to be just playing relatively similarly to how, you know, MVG played theirs. Only difference really being is bringing along this Aruni in order to, you know, play the sort of stall a little more, you know, stop them from being able to pile in through these doorways and things like that. A lot of vertical pressure on a site that is very different to the site that, you know, they wanted to play before. And this is going to be the first time we see Blackbeard brought in this matchup.
Yeah, Blackbeard, particularly since the rework, is such a different operator in that he actually gets picked nowadays. But
Yeah.
it can be incredibly powerful. If you fit the right equipment and you go without a scope, you forego a scope. You can ADS still very very quickly, and you can still catch good players out with it. Plus the fact that it's a shield, which in itself is very powerful.
Uh,
Shield meta not quite dead.
Fun fact, by the way, the last, I don't remember if it was the last SI or not, but the SI that G2 won, Blackbeard was the only operator in the game with a positive win rate, and he was played very, very frequently by G2. Glock not going to be able to get himself out of that position. Einer going to be there to shut him down, putting him onto that negative KD, and the attack going to be in a good position. coming into the second half of this round.
Yeah, Glock's being taken off the board. That's a player that can go ahead and clutch the game at the end type thing. So it's really good to take them off the board. And interestingly, Hassi's entered the building. So that's something nice that's happened for the first time in several rounds. Hassi making it in. So good things all around.
Definitely so. They are just going to be scanning around, seeing if they can spot any of these people on cams, or spot any of this extra gadgetry. But Aina spotting a player as he manages to find himself a second. And, well, it's going to be a bit rough for these defenders now. They do still have the pulse below, ready to try and take an engagement. And Rigora is also on those yellow stairs, ready with a shotgun in hand. As, Aina going to be getting himself completely shut down there.
Yeah, good, strong yellow.
No!
Oh, not with the
read.
pre-placed. No,
That's
with
insane.
the pre-placed. Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, that's round changing. If SilentFamily go on to win the round, you point at Rigora. That was fantastic.
Yeah, that's all on him right now. As he's still going to be positioned around that yellow side, but as we see people just trying to get themselves back onto site, Rigora gets another one for his troubles, and it's starting to look up more and more worrying. Gold is on site, I think, and you've got Hassi up above. They're trying to get this plant down, see if they can get themselves secured, locked in, and maybe even get themselves on the win.
Flick.
But they've secured one kill. Blackbeard, the last man standing, is going to be in this 1 versus 3. A bit worried. Shotgun comes round, isn't able to find it. He manages to get that kill, and now a 1 versus 1. Hugo versus the shield of the Blackbeard. No priority on that melee, but he manages to secure it anyway. Trapped in a corner, trapped in a room, stuck between a rock and a hard place. Gold pulls himself out of it very, very easily.
That round won't have gone to plan in terms of how they discussed it in their little timeout. That will not have gone to plan at all. But
100%.
Man, oh man, goalies plucked it out of the fire. What were we saying earlier? What was the saying where, it's not a team where they rely on just a single one key player. All of them have that in them. And that's why MolotovGang are so strong, because, when the cards are up, your back's against the wall, every single one of them can reach in and pull it out of the fire. And we saw an incredible round come out from Rigora, dropping a 3K. We said if they won the round, that's who you point at. The rest of the team not quite singing from the same hymn sheet. All three of them pushing Blackbeard. Blackbeard, happy to deal with them one at a time. If they'd have just mass rushed them, they probably could have got them and ended the round there and then. But not to be. Match point, series point, and MolotovGang potentially 3 minutes away from going to the grand final.
Yeah, it really shows how powerful Blackbeard can be in those little peak battles there, because of having his body defended and even being able to defend his face when he's not really trying to take these engagements. So it's pretty cool to see a new operator, because I haven't really seen Blackbeard played at all in a competitive format, not as of yet anyway, because I haven't been able to keep myself kept up with everything, with it being the time of year it is, and the way my work is. So it's pretty interesting to finally see that mirror windows being opened from the vertical. I don't know what happened there. I think the defenders may have opened the mirror windows. Oh, Twitch drone. I missed that.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for them. Twitch, be really useful operator for just getting in and disrupting that disrupting the enemy utility without having to risk a face check, having to risk a refrag. Just chuck a Twitch drone in there. That's a really good usage of the drone. It just opens up those angles where they maybe otherwise would have been safe. Hassi bringing out the first kill, refrag coming out from Goldies. Hassi pick up a second.
Yeah, it's crazy. With Goldies down, but also Rigora on the opposite side, it is going to mean both teams, losing out on that larger impact player. C4 goes out, isn't able to find what he's looking for. A little late on the mark, as well. Now Mirror are going to be playing this bit more of an aggressive position. Hugo just on the pallets, waiting for somebody to take the push from the backside. And this is a nice little Valcam here. I like this. No one really spotting this out, which is questionable, but still interesting.
yeah, not bringing the IQ, where Valk on the board, they're very useful, even posthumously. So, maybe a bit of an oversight not to bring the IQ. But a minute to go, and they're already pressuring these defenders who are cowering from the amount of verticality that they've brought.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But Marks isn't cowering at that hatch as he manages to find one. Glock finds the second on Deveriox as now we have this bit of vertical battle going on. Marks tries to take a second, but it's Hassi up above in order to be able to secure that kill. The 2v2 situation, Aina and Hassi left to pick up the pieces against the Scopos, who is going to be rotating himself upstairs, see if he can get a bit of a flank going on. And with Scopos being as quiet as he is, could try and get himself around there, but isn't quite able to. Gets caught out on the rotation. Now, he sees a leg behind the pillar, isn't able to get it, and the Thermite just keeps himself safe. Mirror just in a bit of a rough position, but Hassi tries to take the swing, and that's going to be a mistake made on that side. The positioning could be fine, could be terrible for this attacker, as the Mirror is going to be taking the swing through the rotate. Aina finds it, and that is going to be the map in favor of MVG, and well, the series following along with it. 7-5.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic conclusion there. I think Hugo, I think if they had seen that, they could have maybe clutched it out, pick it off the thermite, but then the plan goes down and they're actively looking for him, and that's disappointing maybe if you're Hugo being unable to, another 2-3 pixels to the right, you see the foot, you shoot the foot, the man goes down, and that's and that's another frag that cancels out the plant, but not to be. And MVG, they're going to book their place in the grand final with I think a very well timed technical timeout. So have a little team chat, say, do you know what, we can win this game. Let's commit to it. Some fantastic individual performances and clutches coming out. But there we go. MVG through to the grand final. December 22nd, are we going to see the Germans all together lifting that wee trophy? Du bist Weltmeister. Or
Well,
is someone else going to be going up against them? Who knows?
yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see who actually makes their way up and through the tables. But as you've pretty much said everything that needs to be said, MVG securing themselves in the finals. We're going to be, you know, looking to see, well, where we can go from here. How much more entertaining can the finals be? Well, we're going to have to wait and see. So it's going to be Asgard versus MG coming up next time. I'm not sure when that is. Production, if you could fill me in. December. 10th of December. There you go. On the screen for you, as you can see. I just want to bring up once again that we are standing with Whiskey Glitter. Exclamation point Glitter in the chat. We are very big fans of his, and he's a close friend of mine. Seeing him in a position like this, it's a bit disheartening. But if you're willing and if you're capable, please, we really encourage you to show your support. Give him a donation if you can afford it. Don't feel don't feel like you're being pressured to donate. Don't feel like you need to, but it is really appreciated for everyone that does get involved. But I think that's going to be pretty much all from us on this ESA cast. We're going to see you again on the 10th of December for the next match in the lower bracket. And yeah, I've been Naj. I'll see you next time.
I've been Delta.